Looking forward to the next administration where we're going to have the largest deportation system that's ever been witnessed in human history.
Rather than joining Democrats and Biden in good faith bipartisan negotiations to make progress on immigration, they are taking orders from Donald Trump and actively obstructing a bipartisan border deal. Just as Trump is openly hoping for an economic downturn in our robust, low unemployment economy, they're hoping for chaos at the border and trying to stop us from preventing it. It's become obvious that Trump's party doesn't want immigration solutions at the border. They want immigration problems to run against.
Yeah, what's that quote from The Dark Knight again?
Some men aren't looking for anything logical. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
That's right. Well, it could well be a bumper sticker for the modern day GOP.
That President Biden has put before you to at least try to help with some of these issues.
That won't solve. That won't solve any of the problems
no.
I just articulated.
Right,
that won't do a darn thing.
Well, I'm sure the people in the Border Patrol agents that you're with think it might do something, at least in terms of making their job a little easier for the next month or so.
No, actually they don't.
They don't want the $14 billion?
A party that hopes for economic turmoil, prays for government shutdowns, and hopes for chaos across the country, all as long as they can campaign on it.
My Texas colleague just finished his comments by specifically talking about the election in November and who's going to win it. We are not here to campaign.
As Trump triples down on his want for the American people to suffer as a means to boost his own polling numbers, during a hearing today on the border, suffering was on the menu for Republicans. Marjorie Taylor Greene gleefully echoed Trump's pledge, taken verbatim from Mein Kampf.
The Biden administration is guilty of the largest human trafficking operation in history. This is human trafficking. I just traveled in airports across the country just the past few days. You know what I saw in our airports? Migrants, illegal aliens, all over in the airports. Looking forward to the next administration where we're going to have the largest deportation system that's ever been witnessed in human history.
Our Representative Luna, who is on the fast track to outshine Marge as the most unapologetic bigot in the Republican Party, shared her thoughts.
You talk about intentional trauma and that the Trump administration caused intentional trauma by separating these children from their quote unquote parents. The fact is that one, we don't know if these people are really, why are you laughing? Mr. Beard, why are you laughing?
Because you said quote-unquote parents, as if they weren't really their parents.
You have no idea. Not only have you not been to the border.
I do have an idea.
Hold on, I'm not done. You have no idea if these people are their intentional parents or not.
Oh yeah.
You have no idea. That's exactly why we do family. Really? Are you psychic?
No,
have you won the lotto, Mr. Beer? I don't think you have.
Read the Office of Inspector General report on family separation.
You have no idea what you're doing, and you are hurting these children. The reason why we want family separation until we can confirm if they are the actual biological parents.
And juxtaposing such blatant cruelty was Representative Jamie Raskin, who was on hand to not only remind Republicans that they are blatantly refusing to come to the table to discuss the border, but how in the grand scheme of things, solutions are not as useful to them. They can't run on solutions while Democrats are in charge, so they want chaos.
Chairman, thank you very much. Today our colleagues are using their first full committee hearing of the year to distract from the depressing reality that they failed to bring forward even a single piece of serious bipartisan legislation, much less a bipartisan bill to improve our immigration system and confront our major challenges on the southern border. The 118th Congress is shaping up to be one of the most unproductive in American history, with only 34 bills signed into law in 2023, a small fraction of the number typically enacted in a year. They simply have no program for America and just operate at the beck and call of Donald Trump. It's become obvious that Trump's party doesn't want immigration solutions at the border. They want immigration problems to run against. The other main issue they used to demagogue, abortion, is no longer available to them because the country's negative response to the Supreme Court's destruction of Roe versus Wade in 2022 demonstrates this is still a country that prizes freedom, rejects theocratic repression, and opposes the MAGA Republicans' eagerness to pass a national law banning abortion rights. So they can't talk about those plans anymore. The cat's got their tongue. So with no positive program on infrastructure, healthcare, education, or anything else to run on, the do-nothing MAGA Republicans are hoping that simply demagoguing the issue of immigration, while not addressing it in any serious way will be their ticket back to the White House. Then Trump can resume the real work that he wants to accomplish, pocketing for himself and his family tens of millions or billions of dollars from foreign governments like communist China and the murderous monarchs of Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Qatar, and so on. Rather than joining Democrats and Biden in good faith bipartisan negotiations to make progress on immigration, they are taking orders from Donald Trump and actively obstructing a bipartisan border deal. Just as Trump is openly hoping for an economic downturn in our robust, low unemployment economy, they're hoping for chaos at the border and trying to stop us from preventing it.
A point further reiterated by the unwavering Jasmine Crockett.
Republicans can't do the basic job that we are supposed to do. You see, in 2 days, we are scheduled to shut down. They can't figure out how to do a budget because we're 6 months behind, but somehow they are going to solve this complex issue of immigration. I seriously doubt it. And to quote a great known as Riri, also known as Rihanna, how about we give a round of applause, a standing ovation, because we have absolutely had nothing more than performative politics. In fact, my Texas colleague just finished his comments by specifically talking about the election in November and who's going to win it. We are not here to campaign. We are supposed to be here to legislate, but we have done everything except for legislate. President Biden has tried to put 1,300 more Border Patrol agents at the border to help, but Republicans have obstructed that request. Republicans want to cut the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States. President Biden has tried to give our border agents 100 new cutting-edge inspection devices and add 1,000 additional law enforcement personnel. Republicans obstructed that request. Honestly, I can't tell if y'all are for anything other than obstruction and cruelty. Just take a look at my governor last week. He said, and I quote, "The only thing we're not doing is we're not shooting people who come across the border because, of course, the Biden administration would charge us with murder." I know Governor Abbott doesn't understand the law, but let me say this, that absolutely would be murder. And with that, I'll yield.
And this is the clear takeaway, right? The Senate reached a bipartisan border deal that Speaker Mike Johnson refused to even consider, but yet House Republicans will continue to complain, all while blaming Democrats and doing nothing to help solve the problem.
We believe in rules. We believe in law and order. We believe in order at the border. Like I said, if Republicans were serious about this, they would support $2.3 billion in ICE funding, $5 additional billion in Customs and Border Patrol. We're not going to fix this by building walls. We're going to fix this through broader use of technology, manpower, immigration, judges, humanitarian assistance, aid to local communities who are dealing with the frontline impacts. That's how we deal with this, but it has to be done in a comprehensive way. And unfortunately, as you've heard recently, Speaker Johnson doesn't believe in anything comprehensive when it comes to the border immigration.
It's their same old game plan. Highlight an issue, complain about it without helping to actually install any solution, with the hopes that enough fear-mongering will swing voters in their favor.
Obviously, there are issues with the border and with migration. But these are the kinds of stunts you see from people who don't have a solution. Where have these, Governor DeSantis was in Congress. Where was he when they were debating immigration reform? What have any of these people done to be part of the solution?
It's the exact reason they can't bring themselves to admit that the economy is soaring under this administration, because they can't do that. They had nothing to do with it. In fact, they voted against countless measures such as the Inflation Reduction Act and the infrastructure bills that have benefited the economy. Well, until it's a chance at a photo op, and then they'll take credit for it because they have no shame.
Well, this bill, this $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill, isn't true infrastructure. Like, if we're going to do infrastructure, let's do infrastructure. Less than 10% of it, $110 billion, goes to, quote, surface transportation, and of that, $70 billion is public mass transit, leaving you only $40 billion, or 3 or 4%, to go to roads and bridges, traditional things that Americans, really desperately need in their communities. And so there are 42 new taxes in the infrastructure legislation as well, and these are just things I can't support.
Well, that's interesting, because this person here looks a lot like you.
Last week, we announced our plan to bring affordable high-speed internet. To no one's surprise, it's bringing along some converts. People strenuously opposed voting against it when we had this going on. This was going to bankrupt America. Well, there's a guy named Tuberville, senator from Alabama, who announced that he strongly opposed the legislation. Now he's hailing its passage. Here's what he said, quote, "It's great to see Alabama receive critical funds to boost ongoing broadband efforts."
Welcome aboard.
Thanks so much for watching. We're only a few subscribers short of 2 million subs. Please subscribe right now to the MeidasTouch YouTube channel for free and help us grow this unapologetically pro-democracy network.